Now then, people, and welcome to the Just Your Football channel, or Just Your Football show, should I say. Fantastic inaugural guest. I had to pull out the big guns for the first Premier League prediction show. And of course, I brought the big man that is Craig from the Anfield Agenda, Mundo Sport. Or how you doing, Craig? And welcome, mate.
I'm all right. And look, I love any excuse to talk to a fellow ball brother, mate. Anytime, Joe, anytime I'm here, mate.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I had to have a fresh shave because honestly, I had a massive beard, and when I have a massive beard and a bald head, I don't know if you've seen Four Lions, but I look like Barry, Big Bad Barry. Have you seen Four Lions?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh no, he's basically a white guy who's Anyway, those that have seen Four Lions will understand the reference. But let's get straight into it, Craig. Obviously, starting Friday night, we've got Newcastle versus Villa. I don't know if you've got that on your prediction sheet with it being a Friday night game. But Newcastle in a hell load of trouble. Obviously, Aston Villa without Jack Grealish at the moment. I'm not sure if he'll be fit for tonight's game at 8 p.m. But what are your thoughts on this one, mate?
Yeah, I think Callum Wilson's out for Newcastle as well, if my memory's right. It's the Friday night game nobody wants to watch, let's be honest about it. I've gone for a cheeky 2-1 win for Villa. I think, they haven't been in the best of form. They've dropped some points, but, I mean, Newcastle are up shit creek at the minute, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, mate. I think for me, I'm going to go for a Newcastle win. I think they're going to pull it out of the bag. The reason being is I just don't see them getting relegated. I was on with your man, Jack, on the Mundo Sport podcast. Make sure you check that out, people. And I said on there that I just fancy Newcastle to stay up. I think the teams that will get relegated are already there, which Fulham fans won't like to hear, but it is my opinion. And I'm going to go for a cheeky 2-1 Newcastle win in this one. Next game involves my club, Leeds United, the Mighty Whites, up against the resurgent Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. Craig, do you give us much hope in this one? I'm worried.
You know what? We were doing this with myself and Jack on our channel, and he actually, as far as I remember, he had you down for a draw in that game. I think you'll lose by the odd one because I've been watching you guys, and I'm a fan of the way Bielsa sets his teams up, but you have not looked yourselves recently, and I don't know what it is, and Tuchel is just, they're grinding out wins at this moment in time. I'd love you to take points off that would help us out massively, but look, I've got to be honest, I see a 2-1 Chelsea again in this one.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for us. I think they've gone 11 unbeaten since Tuchel's come in. I always like to get some Frank Lampard chat in there, and I'll just say I told you so. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword for me as a Leeds United fan because we have a rivalry with Chelsea. So the fact that they got a new manager and he's doing well, initially I'm like, see, I told you so. Lampard was no good. But now I'm like, okay, I'm not enjoying it now because they're just too good. But yeah, I think look, it's going to be tough for us. I'll always back Leeds, though. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Leeds United win. I won't get much points on the Premier League predictor, I don't think, but maybe we can pull one out of the bag and upset the apple cart. Next one, mate, really boring game. Sorry, Palace and West Brom fans, but it's not one I'm looking forward to. Where do you see this one going, mate? Do you give West Brom any hope of staying up at all, or do you think it's done?
I hope not. I hope they're gone. The club still bangs a Tony Pulis to me, and just bringing in Sam Allardyce just adds insult to me. I just don't like him at all. Don't like, nothing against West Brom fans, but the club will always just be synonymous with me with Tony Pulis, horrible football. From Stoke as well, obviously at this time there. Palace have been a bit of a mixed bag as well, though. They've Zaha back. Benteke is the world's finest goal scorer now, apparently. Who would have known? Banging in headers and volleys left, right and centre. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Palace win.
2-0 Palace win, yeah. I think it's going to be a draw. I'm going to go for ones apiece in that one. I think it's going to be pretty boring, though. It won't surprise me if it's 0-0, to be honest, but I'll go ones apiece. Next one's Everton, massive rivals, of course, of your lot. And they're up against Burnley, who, to be fair, keep getting the odd result here and there. Where do you see this one going, Craig?
I struggled with this one, Joe. I went back and forth either way because, exactly as you've said, Burnley have turned up a few strange results. Everton obviously playing really well, excellent manager, and Carlo Ancelotti got them playing. They came to Anfield with belief, and I haven't seen that from an Everton side in a long time. But with that being said, I have a feeling this one will end up 1-1. And I'm not saying that anti-Everton, just Burnley are one of those teams they could nick an early goal and cause you trouble for the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think. Just quick question, quick fire one. Do you think there's a chance Everton get top 4 this season? Do you see them landing in there? I know they're up there right now, but there's still quite a few games left. Obviously, I don't know if you think yous are out of it. I don't know.
I think we're out of it, to be honest.
You do, yeah?
I think. Look, yeah, I think Everton can look at this with positivity and think, yeah, you know what, we're in there with a shout. And when you've got Carlo Ancelotti on your side and they've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin back, Richarlison playing well, I think they've every right to feel optimistic. And it kills me to say it, but they're going in the right direction.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, Craig, but I guess when was the last time Everton would have finished ahead of Liverpool in the table? There's a realistic possibility it could happen this season.
I don't remember, is the honest answer, mate. Yeah, it's been quite a while. Like, the nearest I remember was in 13-14 with Roberto Martinez and we had Brendan Rodgers, and they came to Anfield. We beat them 4-0 on the night, but it felt like that was the game where one of these two teams were getting that 4th spot. And we beat them. Lukaku did his ACL at the time, and we went on to do it. But yeah, other than that, I can't remember us really having too much trouble with them in the league table.
No, definitely not. Those watching, put in the comments the last time that was. It'd be a turn up for the books if the Premier League champions were to finish below their fiercest rivals. But yeah,
I'll tell you what we all want to see, Joe. This is what we want to see, right? We want to see, I don't know, somebody, let's say City win the Champions League or something like that. Or no, we win the Champions League at Liverpool and Arsenal go and win the Europa League, and then Everton get pushed out of 4th place into the Europa League. Wouldn't that just be fitting, wouldn't it? That would just be the most Liverpool thing ever.
It would be, mate. It would be. But I'm backing Everton in this one, Craig, unfortunately. For you, mate, I think they'll win this game. I'm going to go Everton 2, Burnley 0. Next one we've got on the card, mate, is Fulham City. Fulham. Parker is getting a tune out of them, but it's going to be a step too far, surely, against this Man City side.
Yeah, you just think that City are just going to try and get the points they need, get their League One wrapped up, and then look to the latter stages of the Champions League and really make the push for it here. You're right, Scott Parker has fun. I thought Lookman has been sensational lately for them as well. Yeah, I can't see anything except the City win, so I've gone 2-0, but I agree with you on Parker and Fulham. He's got them doing good things.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised by it, if I'm being totally honest, but I still think they might go down, but he has done a fantastic job and brought in some decent players. Josh Madger as well, I think, who was at Sunderland previously. But I'm going to back City on this one as well. I fancy Fulham to get a goal, but I'm going to go 3-1 to Man City. Next up, Southampton, Brighton, the XG champions that are Brighton. I seen a graph. You know what these statos are like. Nothing against it. It's just not my thing. But I seen a graph, and for expected points, Brighton should have been in like the top 6 area. But obviously they're languishing in 16th, I believe it is, or it might be 17th. They might actually be behind Newcastle, and it just shows you sometimes stats don't tell the whole story, because yes, they might have expected all these goals, which would have got them these expected points. But the reality is they're in danger of the drop. Do you give them much of a hope against Southampton?
I think this is going to be a cracker of a game. Yeah. I really do. This is a game that I'd happily sit and watch. Southampton, I love the way both managers said about the games. Yeah. I love the way Hasenhüttl says about Southampton, and I have a lot of time for Graham Potter and the way he tries to get Brighton playing. I'm going to go Desmond on this one. I think this would be Brighton have to score 2 eventually at some point. Yeah. So I'll go 2-2 on this one for me.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Both teams create chances. It's just a case of putting it in the back of the net. And for that, I'm going to back Southampton. I do fancy Brighton to score, but I'm going to go Southampton 2-1. Just have that clinical edge ahead of Brighton in front of goal. Next one is Leicester, Sheffield United. I don't think any of us would have given Sheffield United much hope anyway. Obviously, we found out this afternoon that Wilder's going to be on his way. I've just seen a tweet to say they've got a press conference that is going on now, I think. So I don't know what's being said there. But it looks like Wilder's going to be on his way. Do we give Sheffield United, whoever's going to come in, I think it might be Heckingbottom, who's a coach who actually used to manage Leeds for a short while. He's absolutely terrible. But do we expect them to have any sort of new manager bounce against this Leicester side?
Yeah, I've even heard a shout, by the way, for a while let's go up to Celtic. I've heard a couple of little whispers that could be a possibility. Look, Leicester, they are the ones that look like they're having a wobble. But even at that, I think I can't see them not getting the win against Sheffield United. I mean, I'm going 2-0. 2-0 to Leicester in this one. Ian Nacho's finally discovered how to put the ball into the goal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he couldn't do that against Manchester City when we would have won the league title if he had managed to remember where the goal was. I still, to this day, Joe, swear he hit that wide on purpose, and I'll never be convinced otherwise. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-0. I mean, I know they've got Madison, or not Madison out, sorry, the Harvey Barnes out. I know they've got a lot of injuries.
Might be out as well, mate, yeah.
But I still think Leicester have enough quality there to get the job done.
Yeah, I do as well, mate. I think it's going to be cut and dry 3-0. I think they'll beat them comfortably. I think it's going to be quite a turnaround at Sheffield United. He's been there for such a long time, right from League One days, and it's going to be a bit of a change in. It's just going to be so mad, isn't it, for them to come into that dressing room and it all be changed overnight. So yeah, Leicester too much for them. Next one is a big one, the North London derby at the weekend. Spurs in a bit of form now. Yes, the teams they've been playing aren't amazing, but they have picked up a bit of form, and Arsenal defensively aren't that great. And when you've got Son, Kane, and Bale firing, I can't see past a Tottenham win on this one, Craig. I'm going to go as far as to say it's going to be 3-1. What are your thoughts on Arsenal, Tottenham?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Arsenal. I really don't. Sometimes I look at them and you think, okay, Arteta has a system in place here that makes some sense. Mourinho seems to have let Spurs off the leash a little bit now with Bale coming back into form, as you said, Son, Kane. I fancy the fact that it's at the Emirates. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, but I can see where you're coming from for a 3-1 win. But the North London derbies are notorious for throwing up mad results.
Yeah. Well, I was doing a bit of work earlier on for a show we've got on All Leeds TV a little bit later on, and it turns out that Arsenal haven't won in the derby since December 2018, which is quite a long time when you think about it. How much they'll play each other within that time. So I'm going to back Tottenham, and they're going to win it well. Next one, top four battle, really, which is a surprise. We're saying that at this stage of the season between Man United and West Ham United. What a turn up for the books for them. I was speaking to Corey at the start of the season, and he was convinced that they were going to get relegated, and now they're in a top four battle. It's insane, isn't it? How do you see this one going, mate?
I just finished recording with Russ, who's the DJ in West Ham Stadium.
We had him.
Yeah, doing a show with him, lovely fella, and we were talking about where they are, and I had Jack mate a couple of weeks ago, and he's absolutely baffled as well about where West Ham are. United have some injury concerns with this. Martial obviously went off. Rashford could be touch and go with the shoulder on this one. Cavani looks like he could be out. I still think they'll get over the line. I'm going to go 2-1 United. I think West Ham will score. They've got something about them as well, a bit of belief. I think Moyes will want to try and prove something as well against his former club. I think United will just about scrape a 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. First time we're going to agree on a scoreline on this show, but I'm going to go 2-1 as well. I think the loss of Lingard as well. Obviously, Lingard can't play for West Ham due to the loan deal and him coming from Man United, so he'll be a big loss for them as well. And I do just think Man United might just get over the line. West Ham, quick question: do you think they get European football if it's not the Champions League? Do they get European places?
European place, yes. I mean, I would say that they should get into the European places. I mean, I think they deserve it. The season deserves it, if I'm being honest, Joe. I mean, none of us would have given them a hope, and they've ground out result after result, and they seem to be a team full of belief at the minute. And, we've seen with Sheffield United before the break last season, belief can carry you a long way, and winning becomes a habit. Yeah,
definitely. I agree with that. And it'd be lovely, it'd be lovely. That's why I like to see Leicester up there. West Ham, even Everton as such, just to upset the apple cart a little bit. I know you won't like to hear it, but there was talk earlier on in the season about this breakaway league and all this tosh, whether you agree or disagree, but some of the big clubs would try to do it. And I now look and see Leicester in there, West Ham in there, Everton there, and Arsenal languishing in 10th, so I love to see it, to be honest. Last one, mate, last one on the agenda is Wolves-Liverpool. You'll be happy to know you're not at Anfield, which is a good thing these days, which is insane to say. But do you fancy yourselves to do Wolves?
I don't know what I fancy anymore, Joe, when it comes to our games, mate. they're not going through the best of times either at Wolves. Obviously, Jimenez being out for them has been a huge loss. They've got some players there that I think I wouldn't mind Pedro Neto at Liverpool. I'll be honest with you. I like the look of him.
As well as Rafinha, eh?
I'll have him as well, yeah. I mean, of the two, genuinely, I prefer Neto. I think he's a bit more snidey, and I like me a snidey footballer.
Yeah. I don't know, when we played him, he screamed and he's one of them players that if you're on the opposing, fans, he really got on my goat, to be honest. But yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, it's Rafinha all day for me. But if Liverpool would prefer Neto, then take him so we can keep Rafinha, mate.
Look, Rafinha's a quality player, and there are some good players in that position in the league, and you're very lucky to have Rafinha, and he's a quality player. But this one for us, Wolves, I'm so scared to predict anything with our results. I don't even know what 11 the gaffer's going to go out with. I mean, we do have quite a while now until we're back in the Champions League. So with that in mind, I'm going to be a bit ballsy, Joe, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for us.
2-1. I think it's going to be 2-0 Liverpool. I do back you. And Craig, I still don't think that the top four hopes of Liverpool are over quite yet. I think you mentioned earlier on about Leicester and maybe a little bit of a wobble. I think if Liverpool are to get in, they would need to drop out, because I just don't see City, Chelsea or Man United dropping out. So for me, there's only one spot available. We know what Brendan Rodgers is like. We've seen it last season. He's done it before. They'd be the team to drop out. It's just whether or not them teams in between, the likes of Tottenham, Everton, West Ham can continue as they are. But I still fancy you might get in there, Am I talking crazy?
I don't know. I said, it's funny, I said at the start of the season, and a lot of Liverpool fans had a pop at me over it. You're always asked at the start of the year what trophy you'd like to go for. And I've always said, last year was the Premier League, of course, because we hadn't won it. But it's always been the Champions League for me. It's to me what Liverpool exists for. And there's nothing better than Champions League nights. And that, I think, what sparked a lot of people's love back in the game again, even with no crowds in, was that Juventus Porto game the other night. That was just proper football again, wasn't it? It really had us all on the edge of our seats. So we could do it, maybe. I mean, we should try, of course. There's still plenty of time to go, but I think I think we needed something from that Chelsea game, and then to follow that up as well with another poor result. I can't see us doing. I can see us hopefully getting this win, but don't rule us out winning the Champions League. That's all I'm going to say. Is we're not favourites by any stretch. Bayern are there. Chelsea probably be in there if they get past Atleti, PSG, Manchester City, some good sides in there. But, our players, I think, know that this could be, and it's in Istanbul this year again, which, there could be something written about that. And interestingly, the last time Ronaldo and Messi, I think, didn't make the quarterfinal stages of the Champions League, we went on to win it, I think, as well. So
that's an omen right there, mate. That is an omen right there. But I suppose maybe the changing of the guard now. So you haven't really got Ronaldo or Messi, but you do have Haaland and Mbappe, so it's a little changing of the guard possibly. But listen, mate, if out of anyone left in it, I'd like Liverpool to win it. I don't mind Liverpool. So go ahead. Go win it, mate. That'll be class. But thank you, everyone, for watching on this first show of the Prem Predictions. We'll be doing this every week. I'll be getting a guest on to come on and have a little league table versus me and the guest and see how we get on. But I just want to thank you so much, Craig, for agreeing to come on and jumping on. You're a top fella. Do you want to let anyone know about what's coming in the future, if indeed there is anything?
Just trying to get that our channel made to 100k. Connor, Connor, the other half of our channel. Yeah. I'd love to get him that YouTube silver play button before I sail off into the sunset. So we have till 23rd of May. So I think 10 weeks to go. We're about 17k short. I think we might do it. So if you get a chance, anyone, just come over and drop us up on Anfield Agenda just to get that young man some, because he started this when he was in college when we started this, and I'd love to be able to him to just show that to his dad and say, look, I started this in college. There you go, done this. So if not for me, for young Connor, I'd love to get that 100k award.
Yeah, anyone that is watching, obviously we're only small, but if you don't, go sub over, because we've had loads of people in the comments on All Leeds TV, to be fair, to say, come over from Anfield Agenda, Craig was saying this and this. So that's always nice to see. So share the love back as well, and make sure you go subscribe to Anfield Agenda and Mundo Sporto. And thank you for watching this. And if you're not already, please subscribe to this channel as well, the Just Joe Football Show. And I'll see you in a bit.